Let us go live to the world, Daniel. Here you go. I'm pressing the live button now. Flip the camera. Here we are.
No audio yet.
There we go.
Oh yes, now we've got audio. I can hear it.
There we go. Oh. Every week.
Boring.
Oh, it really is. Sorry, everybody, and welcome to VCQ. If anyone can explain to me how the in and out matrix works on an Apollo 8P, I would be really grateful, because just getting something as simple as the main outputs to mirror to the aux outputs is seemingly impossible.
Heavens.
But of course, it's not impossible because people do it every day. Doesn't make any sense to me. Sorry, I need to read the manual, of course, is what I need to do.
People have already noticed that your hair is back on form, Mick.
That's great. Catherine and I watched a bunch of YouTube videos on how to cut hair, bought some clippers and some scissors, and hey presto. I should shout out to Catherine. It's our wedding anniversary today.
Is it? Oh, mate.
8 years. 8 years we've been married. And 8 amazing years they've been too. So thank you, Bebbers. I hope you're watching this. You know.
What's the date today?
The 4th of May, Star Wars Day.
So, right. So because our wedding anniversary was yesterday.
No way.
Yeah.
Congratulations. How many years?
Thank you very 17.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Amazing. Congrats, mate.
Yeah. She's a lucky, lucky lady. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I think she is. Well, I think I could say quite confidently that I think I'd be dead if I hadn't met Catherine. And we wouldn't have that pedal show. Those two things are pretty much certain, I would say.
Yeah.
She keeps the fires burning. So cheers, Bebbers. Happy anniversary.
Yes, cheers to both of you.
Nice. And to you guys. And to you and Tim.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
What a positive note on which to start this week's show, Daniel.
Yeah, all downhill from here.
Yep, all downhill from here. So we're here to talk about the show on Friday. Welcome, everybody, from around the world, wherever you are.
Yes, welcome.
His glasses are clock. Who have we got
and
here?
And Stuart Bowlwell, we will read that out. That's so generous of you, Stuart. Thank you, mate. That's very kind.
Blimey, O'Reilly, Stuart. Thank you.
A Rocket Complex, breadboarding and overdrive whilst listening today. Keep up the good work. Very nice. Very nice. Tell us what overdrive you are breadboarding, A Rocket Complex. Or is it an original? Music Man says he likes big butts and he cannot lie. Is that? I don't know if that's in reference to the my Spinal Tap. No, it wasn't Big Bottoms I was playing, was it? It was something else.
No, it was Tonight I'm Gonna Rock It, wasn't it?
Tonight I'm Gonna Rock It.
Tonight I'm Gonna Rock It. Tonight I'm Gonna Rock It. Tonight. Alistair Tweedy. Hello, Alistair. Alistair says, I bought myself a Strymon Sunset based off your review. Stacking it with a Greer Lightspeed as always on. It's sounding so sweet. Have a gin on me. Thank you, Alistair.
See, that's very good. Yes. I've decided having gym whilst doing this is very unprofessional.
Oh, I don't think it's unprofessional, Dan.
No, I think it was a little bit off balance last week.
Yeah, I've knocked the booze on the head, I think, for a minute. Dan and I have both had a difficult mental health week, to be honest about it. I've had a rubbish week and definitely been in and out of a dark place. So no drinking, running every morning, improve my diet, less sugar, and hopefully that'll knock it on the head for a minute.
Yeah, sugar's a big thing, man. One thing that I find is that, like, when my energy levels are low, my body craves it, and it's really hard to, especially when you've got kids and you've got snacks galore in the house.
Yeah.
It can be really hard to walk past that stuff sometimes. But yeah.
Yeah, I did some reading on cortisol, your body's stress hormone.
Right.
And what they know in some depressives is a high level of cortisol and it not being neutralized. Your body needs cortisol. You need cortisol. Stress is a good thing when you need it, but it needs to come back down to normal levels again. And if you have high blood sugar, it can stay raised. So a high sugar diet can be really bad for people who suffer with high cortisol levels over extended periods. Because something to do with your pancreas and something in your blood gets rid of the cortisol. So there we go.
Very good.
That was quite a big one, which is why you shouldn't. Which is why when you feel down, if you then drink and eat a load of rubbish, it's literally the worst thing you can do.
Right. But it's so good when you're in there at that moment.
I know. Anyway, right, we got loads of questions coming in. We were with Rabia on Friday again. It was literally the last video we filmed before the COVID lockdown, and he was taking us back to school in some heavy tones, which was great.
Yep. Last contact with other humans.
Yeah. Oh, do you remember that?
I do.
Daff Dunlap, hello Daff, says, keep up keeping us going. Love you guys. We love you too, Daff. And thanks very much for that. It's super
Thank
generous.
you, Daff.
Yeah, we did.
Enough on me.
We almost didn't do it today, did we, Dan?
It was touch and go.
We were like, because both of us are feeling pretty rubbish, and we thought, no, actually, to spend some time with you guys would probably make us both feel a bit better.
Yeah.
And it's working.
And it genuinely does.
Thank you.
It genuinely does. Yeah, thank you, everyone. Michael Force says, the TPS studio should be called Fort Knox. Why, you say? The tones that come from the studio are pure gold. Cheers, guys.
Bless you, Michael.
Thank you.
Thank you. Who else we got here? We've got Manuel Schmalsteg. How about a mini-series during lockdown? Everything on 2 o'clock. Demo every pedal with everything set to 2. Totally mixed thing. And please shout out
the best sounding show we'd ever do.
Please shout out to the podcast listeners. Yeah, hello, podcast listeners. We don't say hello to you enough. We're sort of semi-embarrassed of the podcast because it's just an audio stream of the main shows, and we keep meaning to put a bit more effort into the podcast and actually do bespoke podcasts. And it's a great hope of mine, actually. I love radio. Radio is one of my favourite media, or media. And podcasts feels a bit like radio to me.
Right.
Be great if we could get into that. I love it. I love podcasts.
Well, yeah. I'm just trying to think if there's a way that we can do it without physically touching each other.
Well, we can because it's just audio, isn't it? So it should be pretty easy.
Well, okay.
Should be pretty easy. Well, thank you, Manuel. And
without touching.
We are scratching our heads a bit about what to do because we've run out of shows. We're going to do a kind of YouTube-y roundup this week, looking at some of our favourite stuff that we've been watching on YouTube. Then we've got a surprise coming the next week, which is a different kind of pedalboard build. And then we need some more ideas that are possible for us to achieve with 60 miles between us.
Well, funnily enough, Chris Groom, thank you, Chris. He said, "Hi, Mick. Hi, Dan. Have you any plans to have an online jam with your other YouTube friends?" And funnily enough, we've already organised something that's going as part of a show. So the show is, I've done this challenge for myself to see what I could achieve in 2 weeks. So basically, I've had this series of changes that I've always wanted to be able to play over, like really get to understand them. So I'm working like really hard every day and sort of documenting it from start to finish. But also, my daughter wanted to learn to play lead. So I've shown her the pentatonic scale and I'm getting her to sing the pentatonic and this stuff. And so sort of documenting what you can achieve with 2 weeks of really going for it. But at the end, we've got this jam where it's me and Mick, and we've got Joey and Andy Timmons and Adam Neely on bass and Dougie on drums. And yeah, it's going to be awesome.
So Dan, educate me on the chord changes then. So basically, is there a name for this progression? Is there a name for it? It's not like the cycle of fifths or...
No, there's...
Because there's...
It's basically, if you listen to... there's a number of people have used it in a number of songs. I think most notably, if you listen to the Billy Preston tune, Nothing from Nothing. So it's basically those changes. But because they happen so quickly, and it's got a muscle modulation, so it goes from C, B minor, E7 to A minor. So it's a 2-5 to A minor.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to ask you about the 2-5s. They're not always 2-5s, are they?
Well, so, okay, they are 2-5s, but there's a couple of substitutions there. So the first one, we're in C.
So we go C,
then it's
B minor.
B minor.
And then
E7.
E7, so...
Then to A minor.
Yeah.
Right?
G7.
Now we have a 2-5 to F. G minor, C7 to F.
Sorry, G minor. Yeah.
C7. Yep. Yep.
And then the E7.
Then we go to E7. Yep. And then from here, it's really interesting.
And then it's A minor.
So, well, then it's actually D7.
Yeah.
G7 to A minor. But the D minor and the G7 are actually chord substitutions for two.
Right.
Right. So the D minor and G7, you'd think normally that'd be going to C, but you can C is the relative major to A minor. Right?
Yeah.
So you can use the 2-5 to C major to go to A minor.
Yeah.
And those chords, the D minor and G7, are substitutions for the B minor 7 flat 5 and the E7 sharp 9.
Yeah.
So, so there's those sort of substitutions in there.
And then there's a really nasty A7 where it all gets really nice before it finishes.
Then there's the, it goes E7, A7, D7, G7 to C. So that's the circle of fifths thing there at the end.
Yeah. Oh.
That's it.
I'm back to the beginning again. So it starts off with C.
Yeah.
C major pentatonic, yeah?
Yeah.
And then your next target is the A minor.
Exactly. So the trick with these changes, you're not really thinking about each individual chord, you're thinking about where you're going. So instead of trying to have every single chord in your mind, which is because the changes happen so quick, it's like there are people that can do it. I'm not one of those people. But what you can do is be aware of where you're heading to. So and from there, you can go straight to the A minor, which is...
Yeah, it should be good fun, actually. There's a couple of bends that I'm trying to get into it. Anyway, if you want a hilarious laugh watching me and Dan trying to play over complex changes, well, actually, Dan will manage it. I'll just take the Stevie Ray
hanging on by the skin of my teeth.
Stevie Ray Vaughan approach and don't bother with the changes and just play louder.
Yeah, dude, and it seemed to work for him.
So yes, Chris, we are going to do a bit of that. I've been asked to do a couple of things, and I'm sure Dan has as well. At the point I have to get involved with any technology, I am just out. Absolutely unbelievable. How do I get you back, Dan? How do I get you back, Dan? That was unbelievable. Can you believe that? I was literally just moaning about technology. And the internet goes down. Point proven. Right, let's move on.
Boy.
Zach Briggs, thank you, Zach. That's very kind of you. Thanks for doing the show. No need for a shout out. Too late. Thank you, Zach.
James Harrell says, my mental health has been balls too this week, but this helps every week. Thank you, guys. You're so welcome, James.
Yeah.
You're so welcome. I tell you what, James, this is honestly, it's important for us as well. It makes it's a big deal hanging out with you guys every Monday.
Yeah.
Knowing that we get to do this and just chat online. It really does make a difference.
Definitely. It feels almost human.
Yeah. Oh, it's a really interesting question from Nick Sawyer. Important moral question. I just found what appears to be an original 69 Strat on Craigslist for $300. Would I be an a-hole if I bought it?
Buy it because something's not right with it, and then if it does turn out to be right, my suggestion would be give the seller a bit more cash. If it does,
there you go.
If it does turn out to be right and not a horrible piece of junk that's been messed about and all the rest of it, that's what I would do. Funnily enough, ATB have got a 70 Strat, so by 70 it was still 4-bolt, no nasty bullet truss rod. But they'd just gone to the rubbish finish, poly finish.
Okay. Are they the grey bottoms?
They would.
Yeah. See, I would like them.
I know. That could be a fantastic guitar, that.
Yeah.
Probably want it refinished in nitro, but that could be a really good guitar. It's quite expensive. It's still $7,000, I think, but might be $6,000. Yeah, but some of those 68 Strats, when I think they were still nitros around that period. Killer guitars, because you've got the 4-bolt neck. Everything was the same. The headstock was just a bit bigger. The body contours weren't as nice and a few things like that, but still potentially a really great guitar. Landau 68 is lovely.
Wow.
David
is that what his is?
Pardon?
Is that what his is, the big headstock one?
Yeah, he's got two. I think he's got a 68 and a 69, or a 68 and a 70 or something. One's black, one's sunburst, if my brain is serving me correctly. David F. David F says, unfortunately, I can't make the Andy Timmons gig at Whitney. Gutted. Thanks for the refund, but please put this towards an after gig bevy. Well, that's very kind of you, David. Thank you. And we're sorry.
Thank you, mate.
We're really sorry you won't be there. We've had a couple of people contact us who are immunosuppressed and are a bit worried about physical, gatherings even after. I mean, hopefully we're going to be able to do the shows in September. At the moment, it's all feeling pretty scary, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is. Sure is.
Time for tea, Dan.
I had a letter through today from the NHS saying because I have asthma, I need to be very careful.
Wow. So they're obviously... Anyway, no, let's not speculate. It's not helpful to speculate.
Albus Band says, solid week. Ordered my TPS shirt, hat, and a few days back. And yesterday I picked up a 2010 Les Paul Studio and a 70s lawsuit era Hofner Les Paul. Love you guys. Oh, thank you, Albus. Love you too. The Hofner... I didn't know that there was a lawsuit era Hofner thing.
No, I didn't either.
Wow. Cool. Well done. Result.
No,
Tom Lawrence says the matching beers look great.
Yeah, I started to grow mine as a bit of a joke, but I've actually, it's become quite attached to me.
I like it.
I can
see you in some sort of a Kubra, cut-off denim.
Yeah, I just wish it was a bit thicker.
Okay.
There's no thickness, but there you go. Whatever. If
you could be in the scene like some sort of khaki shirt, right? and with your Cooper, and you walk up and you take your hat off and you sort of dust it off on your trousers, on your cut-off jeans. That's what I'm,
Excellent.
You've been doing some hard yakka out in the bush, and it's good.
I think there's
But you take your hat off and your hair is still perfect.
There is the opening to the video for the track then.
Perfect.
Isn't
Done.
it? Yeah. Michael Gleason, thank you, Michael. Michael says, tell the gerbils on the internet wheels backstage to run faster. Also, what about vlogs on playing and technique? What Dan is learning from Pat Martino's Endless 16th notes, and how does Mick approach double stops, etc.? Yeah, I think Dan's already started doing a few vlogs on playing and technique, and that's what this one that we were talking about before is going to be about. Hand on heart, I feel like a fraud talking about that stuff. Not least after watching so much Tom Bukovac. I kind of never want to play the guitar again after watching him play the guitar. He's no prisoners, is he?
Oh no, he really isn't.
I mean, you forget, you watch someone who can play the guitar a bit and they're really great and it moves you and you feel good. And then you go to Nashville or LA and the session scene or anywhere where there's a concentration of really good guitar players. And then it's just like vertical.
Right.
And the knowledge is off the scale. I'm in awe of that level of knowledge, especially what I find particularly appealing about it is there's plenty of awesome technical guitar players out there who play technical guitar, right? Kind of makes sense. What I love is all the guys that have all the knowledge and then they play pop tunes.
Right.
Because that's what they're required to do. And the level of headroom above what they're playing means that what they're playing is so good.
Right.
Like if you hear someone play, like me and you every week, sorry, I don't mean to talk for you, but me every week, I'm playing at like 98% of my ability all the time.
Right.
And therefore...
I play beyond my ability
and therefore,
all the time.
It always kind of sounds like that. And then you hear these guys who can really, really, really play, and they're just playing at 70% all the time. And that's what makes it masterful. So,
sure.
Yeah.
All I would say to counter that, because I really enjoy watching Tom. He is absolutely amazing. I'm wary of videos that aren't inclusive because I mean, how many people can play like Tom? So few.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that the other people's contributions or output isn't valid.
No. And he's, to be fair, he's completely acknowledging of that fact. Passion is what it's about. Sometimes he can get a bit sniffy about playing in boxes and just doing the stuff you're doing from muscle memory. And I don't think he's sniffy about it from like, you need to be this good before you can do it. I think what he's saying is, even if you've just started, you need to be pushing. And if you're pushing, that is success. So it doesn't matter how good you are, as long as your attitude is keep moving forwards. And I find that quite inspiring, but also quite daunting.
Yeah, definitely.
But anyway, sorry, where did that come from? Can we do some vlogs on playing technique? What would be really, you could do this. What would be interesting is to sit down with a guitar teacher and have him pull our playing to bits, or her, or they.
Okay.
I mean, it would be soul destroying, but it would be interesting. I had a guitar lesson once, and the guy says, "Go on then, just play a bit." And I played, and he went, "Whoa, stop! What's all that vibrato?" I was like, He's like, "Stop! You need to learn to play the guitar first. Let's get the notes right, and then you can worry about the vibrato." I was like, "Okay, we're just not going to get on." I think he had a point, but anyway.
Stephen Fink says, "I have a small body, complete of a small body, complete hollow body with a Simulduck Classic 59 humbuckers going into a Mark 525 Express. I have everything I need, less a fuzz. I know what I want. I know I want germaniums. Any suggestions? I'm still using my Analog Man Sunface all the time. I think, actually, that pedal is probably on most of the time now.
Out of interest,
And
why
I love it more and more every time.
Why do you know you want germanium, just out of interest? That's a question I would ask. Because I couldn't listen to two fuzz pedals side by side and tell you one is germanium and one is silicon most of the time. For me, it's more a feel thing.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. What was the actual question, Dan? Sorry, I didn't see it as you were reading it.
I just want some suggestions for fuzz pedals.
Oh, I see.
Fuzz phrase, jam pedals is awesome. Anything by Analog Man, awesome.
You need to start with the three schools, don't you? Would you say? So you need a kind of a fairly bob-on fuzz face, a bob-on tone bender, and a bob-on muff.
There you go.
And then you know how you want to carve it from there.
Yeah.
But until you've arrived at the point where you sort of, you're more in the tone bender school, or you're more in the big muff school, or you're more in the fuzz face school, it's really difficult. And a lot of that is as much about feel as it is about sound, I think.
Yeah, sure. That's the thing with this, with my Sunface. It's the feel thing, because I don't have the fuzz all the way up. I back it off a little bit, but I have with the volume turned down on the guitar just a little bit. It's so hard to turn the pedal off.
Yeah. Everything
sounds better with it. And it's just, the way it feels is extraordinary.
Nice. And what's yours? Yours is the NKT Red Dot one, isn't it?
NKT Red Dot, yeah.
Yeah. Ouch. Sam Harmon. Hello, Sam. Thank you. He says, thanks for another break from the monotony, boys. Thank you for being with us, Sam. Finally got my 62 American Vintage reissue in Sonic Blue. I wonder who has one of those. I'm looking for a P90 Les Paul style guitar. Mick, do you ever miss the neck pickup on your Collings, or is the bridge good enough? Two-part answer. One, I don't ever miss the neck pickup because that guitar is a bridge pickup guitar. There's no need for a neck pickup in that guitar because the sound of that guitar that I want is the bridge pickup. However, I find myself with regular frequency on the Collings website looking at a single cut 290 with the neck pickup as well. Yeah, it is such a great guitar. I mean, I don't need another guitar at this point. I have enough guitars and that would be surplus to requirements. So if you want, people will argue this, but to me, juniors are single pickup guitars. Then you get into specials and stuff, which have got the dual pickups.
Yeah.
But the whole point of a junior style guitar, like Dan's unbelievable 61 Les Paul here, that would be a travesty if that guitar had a neck pickup, wouldn't it? Remember this guitar, Dan?
Oh, I miss it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the sound.
It's such a great guitar, this. Did you hear it speak?
I did.
What was it saying?
It said, ah!
Put me down. Yeah. Awesome guitar. So, no, I don't miss the bridge pickup. However, if you want a kind of versatile guitar that you want to use for a lot of things, then yeah, sure. Simon's got a really nice slab body Les Paul. Don't know what it's called. It's
the Deluxe.
It's cream. No, not Deluxe, is it? Because the Deluxe was the mini humbucker one, wasn't it?
Oh, okay.
Simon's probably screaming at the screen at this moment. Anyway, it's a slab body 2 P90 guitar. That's a really great guitar. Special, Les Paul Special is what that is.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
Bob Venaside said, could there be a transistor amps part 3 in the future, maybe with a Bandit 112 or a Randall RG now that you two are metalheads? I'm PV Bandit. It's like one of my very early amplifiers. It was great. Maybe. Never say no. I think there are other questions, though, before we get to a part 3. But maybe.
Yeah.
What would the question be for a part 3 in transistor amps?
I'm not sure there is one for us. I think you have to be true to yourself. One awesome element of my depression is it makes me really grumpy about everything. You wake up in the morning saying, I am never going to play the guitar again. That's it. I'm done with it. I am totally done with it. And then by about 11 o'clock after your 4th cup of coffee, you're going, all right, I am going to play the guitar, but I'm only ever going to play just what I like and nothing else ever again. Nothing. And Dan, I'll show you my current pedal board, shall I?
Okay. Awesome.
And I still think that's one pedal too many. I've decided that if I can't play the guitar, I don't deserve to have nice toys.
Oh, man.
So, yeah. It's like, strip it back. This happens periodically, by the way. Lots of you out there will understand this. Dan will understand this.
Yeah.
Where you go through periods of going, all the toys in the world, nothing.
I'll show you my board. My current board is this. All right.
Nice.
So that's what I'm using at the moment. And I've got my tally. And that is going into the matchless. But I've just got this.
Oh, how are you getting on with that?
Oh, man.
Dan's doing
it's really great.
Speaker coughing. Is it? It sounds good.
Yeah, it really does.
So
it really does. I was trying to set up so that you could possibly hear some stuff, but it's like, no. But it's it's great. It's not. It's so it reduces the level by 30 dB.
That's pretty significant.
It's very significant. It's not. If you're in the room, you can still hear it.
Yeah.
But it's I can turn. See, I've got at the moment I've got the matches set on 15 watts, and it's just sort of on the edge of breaking up, and you can't hear it in the kitchen. It's really quiet. And man alive, it records. Oh boy.
Does it?
It's really, really great.
I can't wait to hear it because every time I've tried a speaker coughing, all I can hear is the internal resonances of the box that it's in.
Well, one thing about the Grossman, Stephen Grossman, he's gone to massive lengths to get rid of any fundamentals, like fundamental resonance or anything from the cab.
Yeah.
And so what you're hearing is the mics. Now, because I'm using, it's going into the Apollo, what I find is that the Apollo is really, really great at adding room sound.
Yeah.
That stuff. So, I can do that. I can add room and resonance and that sort of stuff with the, digitally, but just getting the raw sound of the guitar. This is just awesome.
Oh, cool! I can't wait to hear it. We've both,
really, really interesting.
We've both given up on.
So the IRs thing, there's in some situations they're brilliant. It's like, I don't have a 4x12, and if there are parts of tunes that I want that a specific sound for, fantastic. What I was struggling with is the core tones, the core riff tones. I really, really want those to be as organic and everything as possible. And I think that's what I was struggling with. And this is sort of tick those boxes for me. But yeah, it's fascinating.
Doing it. I can't wait to hear it. Sunil Yapa. Hello, Sunil. He says, Book of Ack is great, but I love what you guys do. Keep doing pedals. In quarantine, everybody is playing with loopers. How about a deep dive on loopers, using loopers creatively a la Ed O'Brien? You'd be good at that, Dan.
I can certainly have a go. Yeah, sure. I'll give anything a go. I really, really wanted to get what's her name? Far out. Why am I so bad with names?
Katie Tunstall. Tunstall.
Katie Tunstall. I really wanted to get her in to do the Lupus thing because I mean, she's so awesome. And she was the first person I saw do that stuff on Jules Holland. And it just blew me away. So I really wanted to get her on the show. We'd talked about it. We just couldn't make she was really, really up for it, but we just couldn't make the timing work.
Yeah, it was a touring thing, wasn't it? It was trying to make it work.
Yeah. So, I'll have a go and I can show people the basics of it, but we'll get a chance to get Katie in to show you how it's really done. Yeah. I mean, we could throw a lifeline out to Ed Sheeran and get him on the show, but
watching him do that in a stadium is awe-inspiring.
It's amazing, absolutely amazing,
unbelievable.
Well, I know his producer, and he plays guitar for oh man, but come on, brain. I think this is part of the isolation thing. A certain part of my brain's just going, nope, you don't need me. I'm gone. You're not interacting with other humans at the moment. Okay, we'll take the names part and we'll place it elsewhere. Snow Patrol. Anyway,
Ian something.
It would be amazing to get him on. Yeah. But man, imagine that. But anyway, Katie.
Rufus.
That would be so awesome to get her on. It'd be so great.
Rufus 1884. Thank you, Rufus 1884 says it's the wrong time to ask if you're going to get V for the Duchess pedal preamp on the show. I wasn't aware there was a Duchess preamp. There's the Duchess guitar amp. Maybe they've announced something that I don't know about, which is highly likely. We were going to do the V4 Duchess guitar amp, but we blew it up, so it had to go back, unfortunately. Not quite sure why we blew it up or how we blew it up, but we did. Which was annoying.
Jack Duxbury is here and he posted something and I missed it. I can't go back any further. Jack is playing keys on this thing and he's so awesome. Like I gave him a call, and anyone who doesn't know Jack, so if you go to Anderton's and look at some of their keyboard demos and stuff, that's Jack. And I met Jack when he was playing keys for
James Bay.
But Mick's known Jack a long time. And anyway, he's just such an absolute legend. So I knew that, well, if we do this thing, I'm going to need keys on it. If we don't have any keys on it, I'm not going to proceed. So I thought, I text Jack and said, hey, mate, you got a couple of minutes for a chat? He said, yes. I gave him a call. I said, mate, I really want to do this thing. I want to try these gospel changes and stuff. He goes, oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Seriously, Mick, I swear, I put the phone down. Half an hour later, I had an email and he'd done the keys to it.
Yeah.
Another half an hour later, he sent the organ track to it. He was just like, dude, put this in Logic at 102 BPM and it'll just all match up. It's like, man, you absolute legend. And it's like, it was perfect. First, I didn't have to, it's like, no going back, going, yeah, it's really good, but it's, can you try it? No, it was perfect. So, yeah, such a superstar.
Awesome. Thank you, Jack. I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, thank you, Jack.
Yeah, he has music pulsing through him, that guy. Matthew Denby. Hello, Matthew. I built my first pedalboard yesterday by destroying an IKEA bookcase with a jigsaw.
Nice.
Some extremely shoddy woodwork, but does the job. Cheers for the inspiration during my own battle with depression. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Matthew. I would imagine doing stuff like destroying IKEA bookcases is probably an entirely great way to deal with that.
I was having a real struggle today, and you know what I did? I did cable management.
Did you?
Yeah, I did, and it was really cathartic. just getting because I needed to move the desk to get the ISO cabin here.
Yeah.
And all the cables and everything was looking a bit messy. So I just went to town. I pulled everything out and started again just to get a little bit of cleansing stuff going on in here. It was really good. Cable management, there you go.
Sort your brain out, yeah. I went for a run. I'm going to go running every day for a week and see if that works.
Nice. Well, John Gallen says, thinking back to the Ed O'Brien segment, when you were discussing the balance between technical playing and emotional playing, what have you done to expand on your playing in an emotional sense? Blessings. Thank you, John. That's really good. I'm sort of down this. I made a decision a while ago that I wanted to pick up my jazz playing where I left off a long time ago. I learned enough jazz to sort of get by, but I didn't really have an in-depth understanding of it. So I went, okay, I'm going to get into it. And I was listening to some players that I love, and I found Pat Martino, and I didn't stop listening to him. So at the moment, I am deep into the knowledge segment because I'm really aware that I've got so much to get underneath my fingers before I can start trying to add, I don't know, a depth to it because my actual understanding of it was too shallow. So not a lot. I'm in a different phase. I'm trying to gain a deeper understanding of harmony. Yeah.
That's an interesting question. What was the actual question, Dan?
What have you guys done to expand on your playing in an emotional sense?
I see. That's really interesting what you said about, sometimes you might be in a theory or a harmonic or a technique frame of mind, and sometimes you're in an emotional frame of mind.
Yeah, definitely.
I think you just, if you've got something to say and you genuinely have something to say, the emotion part of it isn't that hard.
Right.
If what you're thinking about when you play the guitar is where do I put my fingers next, then there's going to be no emotion whatsoever coming out because the middleman's in charge and all you're doing is playing notes. So you've got to get the notes to the point where you don't have to think about them and they just flow, which is my excuse for only playing simple stuff harmonically because I don't have to think about it.
But that's awesome.
And the minute I start thinking about trying to be more complex is where I just sound like somebody trying to play the guitar. And that, I don't have I've never had much willpower for sticking with it.
Right.
Unfortunately. So I just go, do you know what? This is all I feel and all I want to get out. And therefore that's what happens. And you know what? If I listen to Albert King, or not, by the way, I am not comparing myself to Albert King or anyone else great for that matter, but if you listen to Albert King or Doyle Bramall for that matter, they only ever play minor pentatonic and nothing else.
Yeah.
Literally nothing else, pretty much. I mean, Doyle knows his chords for sure. And that speaks to me more than anything. But you play that stuff and people assume you're an idiot.
No, I don't think so.
They do. I mean, so one of the things that definitely brought me down over the weekend was a lot of comments from people on the Rabia video going, "Hey, it's great to see you guys expanding your horizons and getting out of your dad rock blues." And it's like, it's the other way around. I've arrived at this after doing all of that years ago because this is the only thing that feels true to me. So, sorry, question about emotion in playing. I feel very strongly about it. I feel very strongly indeed about it. Because if you don't have that, then... And that's when like I was saying earlier about feeling bad about playing the guitar. The reason I'm feeling bad about playing the guitar is not because I can't play the guitar. It's because I got nothing to say sometimes.
Sure.
And that's cyclical.
Everyone's in that boat.
Exactly. It's totally cyclical and it happens to everybody.
So check this out. One of the things that really drew me to Paul Stacey's playing, when was it, 15 years ago or something when we first met, there's was always there's an honesty to his playing that I connected with him immediately. And now conversations about music have always been conversations about courage and about having the courage to actually play what you feel.
Yeah.
Like, for example, Paul was doing a jazz gig, and there's a solo, and he was having he was in a funny place or something, and he just turned on some gain and just played this one note, and it just hit it. Like, hit it sort of in obtuse places and just kind of really making a statement. And this is a jazz thing.
Because that's what he wanted to say.
And that's what he wanted to say at the moment. And the leader of the band came up to him at the end and said, after that, and says, like, how you doing, Paul? Paul's like, man, that's what I had to say at that moment, And then he'd go off and play these blistering jazz lines all night. But actually saying, no, for this particular point in time, I'm just going to grab this note and just going to say this because I feel that this is, at this moment, this is the right thing to do. And I think that's where the courage thing sits in, because you think, oh, no, I'm doing this jazz thing and I need to make it nice. And instead of just thinking back about what he should play and what he can play, and then, you got the whole question of ego. It's like, well, I can burn over these changes and look awesome. It's like, no, I'm going to express something. I'm going to say something. So, yeah, I think the conversation about emotional content in music is also a conversation about courage.
Yes, good, nice. I like that. I like that. And then, yeah, okay, we need to get some of these super chats, mate, because we're missing them all.
Sorry, mate.
Aaron Singh says, "Evening, chaps. I'm seeing a few.
Aaron.
I'm seeing a few bands doing recorded sessions of covers and their own tracks. Have you considered doing some of these to get you playing with other people again? Thanks for the suggestion of Luna a few weeks back, Mick. It's very easy to use. So should we do sessions of recorded stuff? It would be great. That's kind of what Dan's doing in a way with this chord progression. Again, I just can't face the tech of it all. It does my nutting. So, sound like an old man. I am an old man.
Yeah, but you look good.
Thanks. A rocket.
I had a conversation with my mum this week. I said, "Oh, Mum, I'm having a hard time." She says, how's it all going? She says, "Oh, it's all, business is good and everything. I'm just throwing it." Yes, well, at least you've got your looks. Awesome.
A Rocket Complex is back with a breadboard update. It works. It's 2 Church of Tone style preamps wired up like a classic 50s amp that you can jump the channels. Nice.
Very nice.
The Love Pedal COT, C-O-T, Church of Tone, was it used to be called? Zach Briggs, no. Sam Harmon, no. Zach Briggs, your playing is inspirational, aspirational, and lights a fire under my ass. I'm a programmer, and 100% of us apologise for our code as we show it to others, 100%. How do we stop being ashamed of who we are and what we create? It's a great question, Zach, and the answer is we need to stop comparing ourselves to other people.
Yes.
Because if the human nature is you're born, you can't walk and you can't speak, and you see other people walking and speaking, and you go, "Wow, I should be walking and speaking," and you are inferior. And your goal in life is to become superior from your present position. Your goal in life isn't to become superior to others; it's to become superior to your current position. So it's treading your own path and not trying to tread the path of others. That's why musicians have such a hard time. That's why I have such a hard time, because I watch Tom Bukovac and I want to forget about music altogether. And then I wake up the next morning and go, "There's something to aim for."
Yeah.
So, but
it's really interesting letting that line between being discouraged and being inspired. That's a really interesting conversation.
And looking at what the truth of that is, because the truth of it is, I won't put the work in. Because it's there. If you put the work in, it's there.
Yeah.
Isn't it? If you do 4 hours a day for the next 5 years, you'll get a third of the way there.
Yep.
And so it's really just about doing the work. And so what you're actually doing is beating yourself up for not having the courage to do the work. That is me being as open as I dare be on the internet.
That's really interesting. Colin Cross says, I've just bought some Velcro. Here's the change. Thanks, mate. Think Thirsty says, when I don't have anything to say, I zone out into my infinite jets. Talking to myself is still saying something. Yeah, man, I like that. That's very cool.
I tried to put the infinite jets in your effects loop a couple of weeks ago and literally had no idea. I just couldn't make it even sound like anything. So,
but that's you don't have any idea with those things. You just turn things around. Actually, they've got a new pedal coming out that we're going to get a hold of soon. That looks incredible from Hologram. Thank you, Matt Gilbert. Yeah, that's very cool.
Thanks, Matt.
Okay, James Emerson says, Mick, I used to practice 8 hours a day when I was learning jazz. I learned how to play well over giant steps and some other fancy tunes. Now I'm back to Robin Ford style bluesy stuff and loving it. Yes, you've created headroom by learning that stuff. Now you've got that under your fingers. When you go back to listen to how Robin Ford does it and using his, alter scales and whole half and that sort of stuff, you've got headroom all around that stuff. And it's like, great.
Yeah, Robin never throws a wrong note into a chord. Literally never, does he?
No.
So,
there's nothing that isn't intentional.
He's playing over a change. He's not just blowing a minor pentatonic. He knows if there's a 2/5 there, he knows to play it.
Yeah.
And that's what you get from your 8 hours a day study, I think. Or what you hopefully. Whereas what I'll do is I'll bend a note, wait for the 2/5 to finish, and then go to the 4.
Perfect.
Just because I don't know, I don't know what to play over that, but it works in that context.
Yeah.
Vibhas Patil from somewhere east by the looks of things. Hi Vibhas, thanks for joining us. Do you feel you lose a lot of the amp's character and feel if you play it through a load box into studio monitors and not a regular cabinet? If yes, what would you choose in this case? A head or a modeler such as the Axe FX? Great question. I mean, yes, obviously, if you're playing into a load box into studio monitors, then depends how loud the monitors are. Do you remember when we were at Real World, Dan?
Oh, yeah. That sounded ace.
And we were stood there in the sort of, the main room at Real World Studios, and the monitoring system there is crazy. I mean, it's like
unbelievable.
You could buy yourself a house with how much that stuff cost. And it was loud as hell. I mean, it was cranked, and therefore there was no feel lost whatsoever. In fact, the feel was enhanced because it just, But through your studio monitors at home, try not to wake the rest of the family up. And there's no feel at all. There's no resonance through the cabinet and your body and the guitar.
And that's the tricky thing, isn't it? It's just because when I'm tracking here and I'm always tracking with the monitors, and to get any sense of liveliness, I've got to get the monitors working.
Yeah.
Otherwise, because if you're not doing that, then you may as well be using, something that's designed to work like that. I mean, last night I was messing around with one of the Universal Audio's Friedman amps, just the amp inside the thing, and it sounds great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like if that's what's going on, if you're not getting any, if you need to track at 0 volume, like with headphones, part of me thinks, all that stuff is really great and we'll get you a certain part of the way there.
It's a better way to do it.
But unless you're going to mic an amplifier, let's be honest, that's the gold standard.
Yeah.
So unless you're going to do that, it's, everything else is sort of compromised. And you just got to pick the compromise that works best for your situation.
I think I've been in 3 situations in my life where I've liked a recorded tone, and to me it's been there or thereabouts as good as the, you know, a mic'd amp. One was old Guitarist magazine days where we used to use a Sequist Motherload, and then Martin, the producer, built his own IRs, or at least found his own IRs and modified them, and that always sounded really, really good. And then listening to Rabea, obviously he does amazing work there because he knows how they work. And actually, Danish Pete, we're not honking anyone today, Dan. Oops. That's for all the people we haven't honked today. A Danish Pete with Kemper. As good as I've ever heard direct tones.
Wow.
I think if I had to do it, I'd buy Kemper. Because I haven't heard anything as instantly usable as that.
Sure.
Everything else that I've ever tried requires way too much EQ, compression, fixing. The digital output doesn't work. You know, yada yada yada. If you're in that world and you know how to fix it, fine. If you're me and you just want to go plug, I'm pretty sure it'd be a Kemper.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait till you hear this isolation box, Nick.
Oh yeah, no. I'm not saying I'd ever buy one. I'm saying if I had to.
I think it's going to be a really interesting conversation. I mean, it's this. It's really interesting because it's not a mic in a cabinet in an open space. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's the mic on the speakers.
Well, what about Gareth? What about Gareth, our friend who has his studio at Metropolis?
Oh man,
Gareth is
an
astonishing musician and producer who
we have to go and see him when this is all over. I know we're missing a few things. I'll just say this quickly. One of the things that he said that I'll never forget. So Gareth, he creates like soundtracks for TV shows and
Ice Road Truckers and the Real Housewives of
library music.
Real Housewives of Dallas and stuff like that, didn't he? He's on all that stuff.
And Ice Road Truckers and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's in there and he's got real drums and real guitars and everything's been mic'd up and he's got it all set up, ready to go. And where we're using these awesome plugins, he's got the real things.
Yeah. I've never seen so many Neve 1073s and 1081s and
just unreal. And so Mick and I are in there and he says, I'm still working on this, but have a listen. And he starts playing some of this stuff. Mick and I like pinned to the wall. It just sounded amazing. And Gareth said, I create this music and I just upload it and then people license it. He said there might be 50 other tracks people are looking for. He says they'll always choose mine and they never know why. And I just thought it just was perfect because when you hear it, like he will take an orchestra into Abbey Road.
Yeah.
Right?
It's all real instruments.
And makes it real and you hear it and it is epic. It's like you put on War of the Worlds and you hear those first three notes, duh, 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 and it's that massive recorded orchestra. You can't create that with samples. It doesn't work. It sounds great, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
You change the process, you change the outcome. And so what Gareth is saying is he uses all the real stuff and mic amps and mic drum kits and everything. And it says, and people listen to all these tracks, so that they always pick his, but they never really know why. That's amazing. Sorry, go way off.
No, it's great. I mean, what was the original question? It was to do with recorded, your speaker thing, and the way Gareth does his guitars is he has essentially a cabinet room. So he's just got like a big speaker coffin, i.e. a broom cupboard that he's treated, and there's a 412 in there, and that's his speaker coffin, isn't it? I think that's how Michael Landau does it as well. And Tim Pierce for that matter.
Yeah, there's some really so some of the Nashville guys have got those rooms. So one guy's got like a room with all of his cabinets in a circle and this motorized mic thing in the center.
Yeah.
That he just spins around to whatever amp and cab he wants. And it's like, if you really want to do it, if you really want to sound great, There
That's
is
the way
no
to do it.
substitute for sticking a mic on a cab. Anyway, Big Shot says, idea for a show. People send a list of their pedals, amp, guitar, etc., and you do a what would Mick do and what would Dan do with that list. I like that, Big Shots. That's very interesting.
Yeah, we might be kicking off something that will precede that in a couple of weeks. But yeah, I like that idea too. Chris Collins Guitar has reminded us of our favourite Miles Davis quote ever by saying, and thank you, Chris, he says, nothing wrong with playing pentatonics or heptabatonics, which is presumably something else, 7 notes, as long as the intention is there. Miles Davis famously said, anybody can play, the note is 20%, the attitude of the playing it is the 80%. I couldn't agree more. It's the best Miles Davis quote, and there are some good ones.
Nice. Matt Bonds wants to know, how does the T-Rex Replicator or Junior compare to other analog tape delays like the TTE? It's a really interesting question. So the T-Rex Replicator was one of the now let me get this right. Was it the Replicator what's the tape one?
Replicator.
The tape is the actual tape one is the Replicator.
Yeah, remember it's like a cassette tape.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So the T-Rex Replicator it's really good. It's compact. It's got a tap tempo. It's got lots of really cool features on it.
It's the most character sound of any of them.
Yeah.
So if you want just a nice clean delay, it's not the one.
Yeah. It's really good. It's really good. You take a little bit of time to get the balance of the record level to tape and all that stuff right. But no, it's great. Lots of fun with those.
Yeah. David Burke, thanks for everything you're doing to keep me borderline sane. 8 weeks in, guys. Thank you, David. I think we're all...
Thank you, Dad. 8 weeks.
I think we feel you. Braden Buller says, hey, gents, any thoughts on getting Mary Spender on the show for being a solo musician and performer? I believe she's into looping as well. Well, funnily enough, just before COVID kicked off, Dan built Mary's pedalboard before she went on tour with the Brothers Landreth. So we filmed the pedalboard build, and the idea was she was going to come back after, do some stuff, do a couple of tunes, and let us know how she got on. Then COVID happened. So that will happen once the restrictions are lifted. So yeah, would be good to see Mary again. Leo Ubios says, Katie who? KT Tunstall. KT Tunstall is what it was. Pooh Ninja says, happy May the 4th, y'all. Happy May the 4th, Pooh Ninja, Star Wars Day. Matthew, no.
Robert Newby says, confirming the previous statement, I apologised for code this very morning. I also apologised for my playing. So did Clapton and Harrison, so he's in good company. Very good.
James Emerson again, wanted to say thank you so much for your show. You've taught me so much about everything guitar. The show really helped me on my journey to find my sound. Now I have a crazy Dumble clone with 1975 Bassman transformers in it. That sounds awesome. That sounds absolutely awesome. And David Burke replies, yeah, 8 weeks and probably only halfway through, as I isolated early due to a genetic immune system issue, and I'm not in the shielding group. Oh, bless you, mate. That is so boring.
Boy, oh boy. Yeah, thoughts go out with you, mate.
Yeah, it will end.
Yeah, it is finite. Fisher Wasted says, hi, gents. This is the first time I've managed to catch you live. Thanks for all the videos. I've been using isolation to try some things. Best thing try so far is flat wound strings with distortion. Keep well. Wow.
Oh, cool.
Interesting.
I've never actually tried flat wounds, but there's a lot of people that really swear by them.
So when I was studying jazz, you just put flat wounds on. It's like, okay, you're halfway there to that sound. It's really, really cool.
Yeah. Tadaro used to do half wounds as well. They grind half the winds off the... Anyway. David Burke says he is in the shielding group. Sorry, David, I misunderstood that. Right, one from earlier. Thanks to BV for moderating today and for trying to
yes, thanks, BV.
Get some of this stuff. We missed a super chat from Michael Hansen. Apologies. I love my Keeley Fat Mod, Messer Tone Burst, and a black box next in line from a KOT. Afraid I won't like it. Strat Blues Junior Vox AC10. Should I buy it? I'm trying to understand what this means.
So you're saying he's next in line for the...
Oh, I see. For a King of Tone, and Afraid I won't like it. You've got some really, I mean, Keeley Fat Mod, aggressive, boosty, transistory overdrive thing. Mesotone Burst, very bright sounding, boosty thing. Black Box, kind of blues breakery derived overdrive.
So Black Box and the KOT, I mean, they're both great, but they're not the same thing.
No.
Honestly,
what you'll find...
The KOT, here's the thing with the KOT, right? You've got those two independent sides, but you can change the gain structure of each side. So you can have one side as a boost, one side as an overdrive, one side as a distortion. And then you can mix those gain structures together. That's like for me, I generally have both sides of the KOT on together. And I've got a overdrive going to a mild boost, just colouring it a little bit. And it's magic, I think. But the other side of that is if you get it and you don't like it, you haven't lost anything. You know what I mean? Because you certainly won't lose any money on it.
Yeah, you can
obviously
you can move it on.
Yeah.
It's funny. I really loved mine for a minute, and you really love yours, don't you?
I love it. I absolutely love it. And it's on the board now.
I don't love mine. I don't know why.
There's mine on the board. I've been recording with it.
There she is.
And it's just, that going to the page. Oh, magic! Absolutely magic. But yeah, I just that into the matchless. It's really, really great pedal.
Nils, so should you buy it? Yes, you should buy it. Nils X. Hi everyone. I just stumbled across Shin's Music Dumbleoid pedals from Japan. Has anyone had first-hand experience with them? They seem on top end of the pricing and possibly hype scale. Anderson's did them for a little while. Me and Danish Pete did some demos of them. At the end of the day, any overdrive pedal is an overdrive pedal, whether it's a Klon or a Tone City Drive Master or whatever that's called. They're all just collections of bits, and it's seemingly entirely unknown whether you're going to like it or not. Does any pedal sound like a Dumble? No. They just don't, because the sound of a Dumble is incredible volume, frequency spectrum like you wouldn't believe, and hurting you. Because once it's recorded and on record, could be anything, couldn't it, pretty much?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not Lowell George, Stevie Ray with the steel string singer, maybe a bit of David Lindley. There's a harmonic richness in all of that. But, that's beautifully recorded, amazing stuff. Does it sound like a Dumble? I don't know. Certainly doesn't.
Ben Butterworth. Hi, Ben. He says, when is it your turn to host the UK government press conference? Is that tips on miking, recording, and EQing acoustic guitars for songs? He's got a good mic and a good interface.
Put the mic. The most success I've had with miking an acoustic guitar. Let's pretend I don't have anything with a hole in the middle of it. So we'll pretend this Paul Reed Smith single cut standard is an acoustic guitar, and the hole would be there, right? The best results I've ever had is to put your microphone about here and point it back more or less at the 12th fret-ish. That seems to be a nice balanced sound. If you put it in front of the hole, depending on what guitar it is, you'll just get too much boom and air and bass.
Yeah, right.
A really good stereo miking technique for an acoustic guitar is that one, and then one down here facing the bridge, blend them in. But what happens is if you put it right by the hole, you just end up putting a low cut on it at about, I don't know, maybe even as high as 120 and getting rid of all of that. So there you get a nice percussive off there. It really depends on the guitar, obviously, but I would think that's a good place to start. It's really hard
very
though.
good.
I mean, you listen to acoustic guitar in a lot of classic music, and it's almost, unless the music is about the acoustic guitar, so unless it, you know, is specifically an acoustic artist or, you know, a piece of recorded acoustic music, so much of it's sculpted away EQ wise, where it ends up largely as a percussive element. And then you listen to something like Hindsight by Joey, or I'm trying to think of another just astonishingly good recorded acoustic sound, and then you get that big full frequency, just unbelievable acoustic sound that wouldn't work in a dense mix.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jay Yelton has said, I'd just like for you to accept blame for my obsession assembling a tape delay out of a bunch of pedals, including a humdinger, not one but two weather boxes. Incredible inspiration and learning experience. Thank you, Mr. Jay Yelton. That was a really fun show, and I think that particular moment of making a tape delay out of a bunch of pedals, well, you know, the sort of elements of that, it was really, I think it was an eye-opener for a lot of people. It was an eye-opener for Mick, the fact that I got it to work.
Yeah, I was surprised.
But no, it's so interesting that if you look at the building blocks of that stuff, and then you can break it down like that, and you've got pedals for all those building blocks, and you can, you know, make it work like that. Yeah, it's really, really cool. I love that stuff. I find that stuff fascinating.
David Burke, thank you, David, has a G2 question, Dan.
Okay.
If I wanted two boards to use together with two G2s, I assume the pedals on each G2 would have to be logically placed, i.e. I couldn't have an essentials board and an add-on board.
Well, it depends on how you do it, David. So you can have an essentials board, and you can leave a loop free in G2 for the add-ons, and then you can move that loop around per preset depending on what you want, and just switch them with MIDI. So yeah, you can have, I mean, I used to do it with a G2 and a QMX6, where I have all my random fuzz pedals and things, but I would just have that at the front. But you can have it, you know, if you can leave one loop free in G2 and put the other board entirely in one of those loops, and then you can just move that around if you need to change the order of that. Yeah, but other people have done it. I think the biggest rig I've seen is someone with 3 G2s, and 2 boards were in 2 loops of 1 G2. So it's like a master G2. I think one board was like his delays and reverbs because he had so many of them. And another board just of, it was mainly, was it fuzzes and gain stages and, modulation. And so he would just, he'd have the reverb ones at the end and then the modulation stuff, so he'd sort of move around. So yeah, totally, you can do it. You can do it.
Amazeballs. If people want advice on that stuff, what do they do? Email support at Gig Rig or something like that? Yeah,
support at the Gig Rig. Contact us through the Facebook page. There's obviously no one at the office at the moment, but we've got everyone working from home, and so support at thegigrig.com or contact us at the Facebook page, and we'll get you sorted.
Groovy.
Right, Cornin1980 says, thank you for all you do, guys. Never apologise. When I found TPS, I had a solid-state practice amp, and that's it. Now I have a wet-dry rig, AC-15 and a Blues Junior. Yes, you do, you legend! With a 16-pedal board. I bought a Strat because of Dan. That's interesting. Thanks always.
Nice. Thank you, Cornin.
Thank you, Con. Yeah, well done, mate.
Snowblind says, just catching up on the video. Happy anniversary to both of you and your wives. Well, thank you very much.
It was certainly a happy anniversary for me. I don't know how happy it was for my wife, but bless her, she soldiers through.
DJ Ashley, hi DJ, and thank you for that. It's very kind. Gents, in what order would you put a Wampler Plexi Drive always on, Friedman BEOD, and a Wampler Tumnus. Appreciate you guys coming in. It helps from Georgia, US.
I would put them exactly like that, at least as a starting point. If the Wampler is an always on thing, and I'd be putting the Tumnus after that, and probably, the Friedman between the two. So in the order that you've written them.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a good place to start, I think.
Rather depends what you want them to do, doesn't it? Like the Tumnus can work great as at the end volume and kind of solo shaper, as it were, if you use it low gain. It's also absolutely brilliant going into something like a Plexi Drive, because you can really boost those sort of mids to get a really lovely thick overdrive sound. So it depends. Depends what you want to do. The difficult one there for me is the Friedman, because such a lot of gain in that pedal, super thick sounding. I would imagine that depending on how you have the Plexi Drive set, you might be getting into really crazy, overly high gain there. But it depends how you have the Plexi Drive set.
Yeah, fascinating. Miles Rusin says, thank you both and the team for your personalities and amazing content.
Thank you, Miles.
I'm a huge Axe Fan. I've never been big on pedals, but I absolutely love your show and learn so much each episode. Much love.
Cool.
Oh, thank you, Miles. Miles, that's awesome.
We get a few Axe and Helix people saying that they take the concepts of the single sound pedals and translate that into that world, which is really cool, because the concepts are universal, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
We do try and make TPS. I mean, I think to the casual viewer, people would assume that it's a gear review show, which we never really wanted it to be. We always wanted it to be about concepts, about learning what works, and therefore molding that to your needs, rather than going, hey, this is the best. Because that's folly. That doesn't really work, I don't think.
Yeah. And the other thing is, Mick and I are under no pretense that we have all the answers. What we do have is real world experience, and I think between the two of us, we can sort of point ourselves in the ability of some better questions to ask. And I think that's an awesome thing that if you can do that, hopefully we've been able to help some people be able to work out what are the better questions to ask. Not what does sound best, but what's going to inspire me. What am I going to connect with?
Yeah, what's going to solve my problem?
Start asking those sorts of questions.
Nick, last name. Hello, Nick. Have you ever been swayed on a good pedal based on its looks? Like a guitar. I've been looking at Tube Screamers and I'm leaning towards the EHX East River Drive because I love the art. Why not?
Nice.
Why not? For anyone not aware, the 3 rules of buying a guitar are what it looks like, what it looks like, and what it looks like. should we be any doubt about that? Buying pedals because of how they look. I've never done that. Have you done that?
Well, I was looking at some. I have. The first Pig Dog pedals I bought was the Juju.
Yeah.
Because I saw a picture of it online and I was blown away. It was just stunning. I'd never seen a finish like that on a pedal. Got to try and get it up close. If you can look at the side, it's got this. If you can show the paintwork on the side. If you can see that, see that? It's just. It's just absolutely incredible. I've never seen a finish like that. It's sort of iridescent. So beautiful. And so that's basically a Mark I tone bender.
Yeah. And,
I was looking for one, and then I saw that as like, it was the finish that made me say, okay, it's going to sound great because his stuff is like the best. But that finish on it made me say, yep, and I'll pay extra for that finish because it's just beautiful. So, yes. I must put my hand up and say.
I'm not going to say anything about anyone's artwork, but some of my favourite pedals ever continue to be some of the worst artwork ever. and that's all I'm going to say about that. East River Drive is a really, really great pedal. So if you're drawn
really
to
cool.
it, it's really sensibly priced as well. Then I don't think you can't really go wrong with that. I don't think.
Awesome.
So good luck.
David Burke said, "Thanks for the answer, Dan. I'll be coming up to you guys for the build anyway." He's going to get a double Schmidt array based setup. Nice, nice, extreme, killer.
When I come out of my grumpy pairing things back, that's exactly where I'm going.
Nice.
Cue the music. Hi guys, thanks for keeping us sane during these testing times. Thanks for being with us. Quick question for Dan. I'm building my own foot switch. Is there a specific type or brand of wire you would suggest for the internals? So foot switch, I'm assuming you mean either a latching or a non-latching on-off type foot switch.
I'm building my own foot switch. Is there? Okay, so maybe you mean you're putting foot switches in an enclosure and wiring it up, right? A specific type of wire. If you use, I'm just trying to think of the stuff that we use at work. It depends on if is there audio in the foot switch?
Yeah, I'm going to say if there's no audio, it just doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah, if there's no audio, it matters a lot less. If there is audio, and it depends on where that audio is going. I would say, still, if you're building it yourself and you want it to last, don't use some decent stuff.
Decent stuff.
But yeah, just so right. It's some things. If I'm making something for myself, and I tend to have a lot of spare bits of wire hanging around. There are things where it's less important, like if it's just a contact switch I need to do, and I've got to take like a 3-inch piece of wire. Oftentimes, I can use an offcut of something I've used before. Just a bit of copper, copper wire. But if it's audio, I always try and use an audio cable with a shield on it. But that's just me.
There we go. Drew A. Hello, Drew. Will adding a creamback 65 medium magnet to my V30 loaded 212 give a fuller sound with more headroom or introduce unwanted phase cancellation? Right, second question first. As long as the speakers are wired the right phase, you won't have any phase issues. That's all fine. You'll have less headroom. The 65 breaks up pretty early, certainly earlier than a V30. Even though the power handling is about the same, because medium magnet, to me, they sound woody and barky, kind of like a high-power greenback is what they sound like to me. The 75 with a big magnet will definitely give you more headroom, but probably no more than a V30. So those V30s are very efficient, powerful speakers. And if you want more headroom, then you would need to go something even more than that. So no. 65 creamback will give you more wood, as it were, for want of a better description. I know this, having done loads of speaker testing for Victory. And the thing that always got me about the 65 versus the 75 creamback was how much kind of more resonant and woody and barky it sounded. Whereas the 75 was cleaner and rounder and bigger and yeah.
Nice.
Hope that helps.
Murray Williams says, thanks for the show about using the knobs on your guitar. I recently added a Fender Armor, A-M-E-R. I don't know that one. American. Oh, Fender American. Okay, sorry. Sorry. Original 50s Strat, which is much brighter than my telly with twisted telly pickups.
Oh, wow.
Have to use the knobs. Also, what happened with the E905?
E906. We had in the show on Friday, there was a microphone comparison right at the end, and the ribbon mic sounded all kind of present and high-endy, and the E906 sounded like there was a sock over it. So I immediately texted Fraser and said, please check the audio. I think you've got the mics the wrong way around. And he's like, nope, I haven't got the mics the wrong way around. Everything is as it should be. So either the 906 is broken, or it was so far off the cone, it just sounded like a sock.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That is not what an E906 sounds like, and I have no idea why it ended up sounding like that. Normally, the 906 would be even brighter because it has this kind of 3 to 4K peak, which is one of the reasons it's used so widely as a live mic, because it is a really bright sounding mic. So something was not right there, and I apologise to everyone because I don't know what that was.
El Rondo says, can you tell me your thoughts on 1x15 speaker cabinets? I'm mostly 9N
In
the cleanish side. Thank you for all your work. I've only ever played a 1x15 once, and it was absolutely awesome.
Yeah, I keep meaning to get hold of a vibe reverb with the 15, or even the old PV Delta Blues with the 15.
That was the one I played.
Was fantastic.
Brilliant.
I do like 15-inch speakers, but they are rare. We should get one in and put that to the test.
Okay, I love that.
Steel guitar players really love them.
Yeah.
There was a twin. There was a twin with a 15-inch speaker option, if I remember
Wow,
correctly.
really?
Yeah.
Amazing.
That would sound great.
Ian says, I'm running my Ryra at low gain and I get a weird crackle out of a Boss Katana. Is that potentially the dreaded digital overdrive you speak of, Mick?
Depends what the crackle is. If the crackle is inherent in the sound while you're playing, yeah, I mean, you can get some unpleasant stuff up there in the frequencies. If it's a bit of noise, then that's coming from somewhere else. So, but yeah, a clon style, a really good clon style, if you're talking about the Ryra clone, a really good clon style overdrive will add that kind of 3 to 4K, what I always think as the kind of fairly aggressive upper mid-range into treble.
Dino Guitar Guy says Dwayne Allman used a Marshall 15-inch bass cabinet. Wow, I didn't know that.
Nice. I didn't know that either. I'm always slightly nervous of statements like that, because did he use it all the time, or did he use it once upon a time?
He would have used lots of things.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, a different kind of resonance. Yeah, so I'm not sure about that crackle that you're talking about there with the Ryra. Turn the treble down. The gain in the clon has that sort of character as well. So it might be exacerbated by the Katana. So maybe turn the gain down a bit.
If you've got another amp that you can try it out with, you'll answer your question real quick.
Yeah.
Take it over to a friend's house. Actually, no, of course. Don't do that.
Do that. David F says, if you want a PV Delta Blues with a 15-inch, I'm happy to come over with it. Thanks, David. Maybe when this is all done. Hey guys, I realise it's niche, says Cody Carrig, but might we see a show on cabinet construction? I know the woods and the building makes a difference, but don't know what. That would be absolutely fascinating.
Yeah.
Because
let's go to Zilla.
Everyone assumes that a speaker cab is a wooden box with speakers in it, and they all sound the same. And nothing could be further from the truth. You should see the R&D and work that goes into boogie cabinets. It is awe-inspiring.
Wow.
Tuned, constructed in such a way to really partner with the amps they're meant for. I mean, even the blessed old, let's take as the antithesis of that, let's take the blessed old Marshall 412, to which I am pointing here on my right. There's a 1960 angle cab there. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say I don't think they put that in R&D for years and years and years, because it was an 8x12 built for Pete Townsend that they cut in half. Right. That's how the Marshall 412 was born, as I understand it, and almost entirely by accident, it was the sound of ages.
Amazing.
And then of course nowadays, much more carefully, the woods makes a massive difference. Again, did some cabinet development with Victory, and using pine sides, top, bottom, and baffle, I think, can't quite remember, but the pine resonates completely differently than ply.
Yeah.
And you get a resonance in the cab. I mean, one of the reasons old Fender tweed amps sound so good, made of pine. Or, sorry, not sound so good, the way they sound.
Yeah. So I've been doing all this stuff on feedback and resonant frequencies. And so if you, like, everything has a, grab anything that's got a resonant frequency that can vibrate freely. But the inverse is true, that the space inside things have the same sort of thing called a standing wave. And that's why the actual design of the cabinet and the space inside the cabinet is so important. It makes a massive, massive difference.
I'm doing a standing wave.
Oh, yeah, okay, very good, very good. Gino Inzarillo says, keep up the good work, guys. Send an email and hope you enjoyed my note. Thoughts on mixing and how to balance vocals guitar. I have a 2-rock combo.
Yeah, that's a question for somebody who knows. Congratulations on the 2-rock combo. But that's a question for someone who knows how to mix. That's a question for Fraser, probably. I would say, the vocals have always got to be 3 times louder than you think they should be. Because songs are about vocals and everything else is there as a sort of byproduct. You could look at the resonant...
The solo needs to be as loud as the vocals, I'll just say that.
Yes, I agree wholeheartedly. You could look at the resonant peaks of each of the vocals and the guitar and try and move the guitar away from the vocal, maybe, if it's a thick distortion sound. Otherwise, it just needs to be a lot quieter and away. Panning can make a massive difference. I'm always surprised when I'm sat at home listening to my monitors, which are, have good stereo separation. I'll be listening to a track going, wow, I never realised all the guitar was in the left speaker.
Wow.
And stuff like that. And start with panning. Think about the resonant peaks of your main vocal and your main guitar part. That might be a good place to start. But as I say, people who are good at mixing music it's like alchemy, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
It's a very amazing special skill.
Anvar Shakil says, hey, Dan and Mick, love the show. Thank you for the amazing content. What are your thoughts on Fender's Japanese-made guitars?
Well, there's a vast array of Japanese-made guitars. The vintage reissues, as were, because just do this quickly. If you rewind, when Fender was in all the trouble in the mid-'80s there and didn't have an American factory, that's why the Squires came out, what followed with the Japanese vintage reissues. They were great guitars. A couple of issues for me. One is everything's in millimeters and not inches, and therefore none of the American parts fit. 2.
Oh, wow.
All poly finishes, no nitro. So that's a deal breaker for Fenders for me. But having said that, my first Strat was a Japanese 70s reissue, and I probably had more fun on that guitar than I have on any other. So,
is that the one with all the holes in it?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that was one's formative years. It was the most important guitar I've ever owned.
Yeah, right. That's amazing.
Yeah, so time and a place.
We got another message from Mark Lavinish. It says, Mark's girlfriend here, her name is Sun, need a good $100 used pedal for his birthday. He has reverb, compressor, and OD already. He likes all kinds of music and loves your show. He has reverb, a compressor, and overdrive
delay
already.
Delay is what you need.
Delay.
That's the next pedal that you should acquire, in my opinion, Daniel.
Yes, absolutely. I'm just trying to think. $100.
Boss DD8.
Yes.
If that's how
much.
If
you can't find one of those for $100, find a Boss. You might be able to find a new DD3 secondhand for around that.
Or a TC Electronic Flashback 2.
Yes. Yep.
I don't know what the dollar price on those is. It's going to be around about there. They might be a little bit more than that. TC Electronic Flashback 2 or Boss DD8 or what else is just a great delay pedal that does a lot of stuff?
I'm just trying to think for around that price.
Fox Pedals Echo Sex
Fox
Baby.
Gear, the Fox Gear one,
Fox Gear Echo Sex Baby is a good shout.
Yep.
What else for around $100? And do check out the Keeley, robertkeeley.com, Walrus Audio, JHS, all the big American manufacturers. They all sell direct, and sometimes they have B stock and blems.
That's a really good point.
You can pick
really,
up
really good
some
point.
really great bargains. I mean, they tend to be a bit more expensive to begin with, handmade in the USA, but you can pick up a really good bargain in the blems. But a delay pedal for absolutely sure.
Yep, he'll love it. He'll love it. Let us know what you get.
Frank Glad, thank you, Frank.
Thank you, Frank.
He says, Mick, thanks for the vlog on the Ron Ellis 5060s. I like the sound. So do I. I've got a 1980 Fender Super Strat that I modified in 81 with Bill Lawrence blades. 5060s.
Nice.
5060s coming in 4 months. I really hope you like them, Frank. They certainly suit Blue really well. I was in here trying to shoot a video yesterday with a Messer Cali Tweed there. And man, they've got some lovely bite to them. Really, really great.
That might be my favourite boogie amp they've made in a long time.
Man, it sounds really good. I couldn't get any. My brain was just in the wrong place, but it really does sound good. It's got that kind of attitude of a Tweed amp,
Right.
but the low power modes sound really good too.
Oh, cool.
I thought, having said earlier that we don't do demos, I thought I'm going to do a demo video. I haven't done a demo video in like years, and I thought I'm going to do one.
Wow.
I'm going to do one. COVID has sent me crazy enough to want to do a demo video. And but the reason I want to do the demo video is because I've used, from the age of about 16 to my mid-30s, I used nothing but Messer amps. And therefore, they're in my heart. And my last Messer that I used regularly and still use is the Lone Star. And I think a question a lot of people are going to have is, how does it differ from the Lone Star? So I will make that video. Might not be next week, but I will make that video.
Cool.
Yeah. And nice to hear about the Ron Ellis 5060s for your Super Strat there, Frank. Hope you enjoy them.
Lovely. Thank you, Ty. Keeping up with the great work. TPS VCQ, the highlight of my Monday mornings. Where would it be morning now?
USA.
USA, okay.
Yeah, California. It will be morning in California.
Lovely.
Hey, Dan and Mick, I have a Fender style amp with a Strat and have a hard time cutting through the mix. I do not like a tube screamer. Any suggestions? Okay, I was going to say get a tube screamer. Get a Klon type.
There you go.
A Ryra, the Clone, Wampler Tumnus, Mjolnir by my brain. He was in here a couple of weeks ago.
Zach.
Yes, Mythos.
Royals from Mythos.
Yeah, Mythos Mjolnir. JHS does one. But anything based on the Klon Centaur will absolutely...
Yeah, that's a really good shout.
Will absolutely
That'll do it.
ensure you jump through the mix. Failing that, if you don't like that idea, something like this is a great shout for anybody in this case. The RC booster from Exotic. Now, this is the Scott Henderson model, I believe. But what that's got on it is overdrive, volume, bass, and treble. So you can tweak to your heart's content and absolutely ensure that you punch through the mix. The other one that's totally worth checking out. Sorry, Dan, I'm on a roll.
No, you do it. You express yourself.
Mark Lettieri's signature.
Oh, yeah, that's a good shout.
Melody Drive from J Rocket. So that's got a graphic EQ on it, which again will absolutely ensure that you can pick a frequency to punch through the mix.
Yep, very cool. And to make it work with your amp. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah, that's what I would go
Lovely.
for. That's what I would go for.
Monsieur Safari says, hey there, what happens if you don't have any episodes to show left and this corona thing is still going on? Love your show. Stay healthy. We've got
a few ideas.
We've got some ideas. We're gonna still try and get the shows out. we're gonna. Believe me, believe us, it's really important to us to try and get, make sure you guys still have some fun things to watch while this is all going on. So, yeah, try and be creative about the way that we do it.
Yeah. So in the meantime, there'll be some vlogs and stuff, and Dan and I are going to collaborate and try and do some things distanced from one another. What hopefully will happen before too much longer is something will be eased, and they'll start saying things like, I don't know what they'll say, but here's my thinking, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have coronavirus.
I do not.
Neither do I. So
cool.
You get in your car and drive here. Neither of us have got coronavirus.
No, that's a really good point, Nick.
Now,
I like the way you think.
I'm sure that there's a really good reason why that shouldn't happen. A, because the government are advising against it. B, because another car on the road might mean another accident or a breakdown and put a key frontline worker in having more to do. So I get all of that. Yeah. But at some point, we've been in lockdown for so long, neither of us have it.
Yeah. And so it makes sense that if you start to, as we're able to start to slowly add people to our circle. Yeah.
So maybe, I'm not saying we are going to do that before anyone gets angry. I'm saying logically, various governments are going to have to start looking at things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because TPS is important. I can imagine Boris Johnson coming on the TV. Very important things, and that pedal show.
Andy Mills says, Dan, I hope you're wearing trousers. Sorry to disappoint you, Andy. Alan Bartlett says, Dan, which one Pat Martino album would you recommend? I would say have a listen to El Hombre. Seriously, though, there's an amazing live album. Oh, my goodness. Also, have a look at, there's an amazing Pat Martino documentary about how he lost his memory and had to learn guitar again from scratch.
God.
And did.
Oh, my God.
And did. And actually, and now plays the way today that he did back then. He's not been very well at the moment, though. I hope he's okay. But, he basically lost all of his memory. And when he came back home, his parents were showing him albums saying, you play guitar. This is what you do. It's like, wow, had to start to learn to play guitar again.
That is unbelievable.
How amazing. It is unbelievable. Yeah.
That is unbelievable. Lots of people are saying about the corona thing, you don't know if you're a carrier or not. That's why lockdown is important.
This is right.
Yeah,
exactly.
we get that. So my question is, if can you carry the virus forever? Because we have been absolutely locked down now for 6 weeks. So, and it might be that we're asymptomatic, but we're still carrying it. The logical extension of that means we can't mix with anyone ever.
Yeah.
Which doesn't really work.
But no, so if you're asymptomatic, you have antibodies.
Yeah. But I can't.
It wouldn't be a constant carrier.
Yeah.
Like my children are when they go to school and come home with all sorts of nonsense.
Yeah, well, that's going to have to start at some point, isn't it? And that's kind of what we're saying.
Please, God, please let it be soon.
At some point, something is going to have to shift. Otherwise, we're all going to be in lockdown forever, which is not really workable. So that's all I'm saying.
Your 2 cents says, greatly appreciate the weekly dose of sanity. TPS is essential as Fuzz. Oh, bless you. Question, do either of you have a broke string joke story when playing live? Yes. Oh, no, when was it?
Mine.
I was doing a TV show. I was playing with this girl called Max Sharam. And I had this, I was in an Ibanez acoustic guitar. And it was like the first time I'd used it on the show. And it was live. And then we started the song. It's like a bar in, snap, So, yeah, that was an absolute nightmare.
What did you do?
I started playing, instinctively, I don't know why I did this, but I started playing really soft. The guitar didn't go too badly out of tune, but there was one string out of tune that I just whipped up and went, and I got it. I think it was a G string. I just tweaked it back a bit and ended up being okay. And I started playing a lot strummier.
Right.
I think there's quite intricate things in this tune. I just started strumming a bit more. I mean, God, it'll haunt me forever. But yeah, I kind of got away with it, sort of. What about you, Mick?
I was in an indie band called Coupe in my university days, and the guy that looked after us was a guy called Kevin, and Kevin had been involved with the rock band The Sweet in days of old, and was really good mates with Andy Scott, guitar player from The Sweet.
Wow.
And forgive me, I was young and idiotic. I didn't really know who Andy or The Sweet were. And we were doing a gig in our crappy indie band, and Andy's there. I break a string, hand him my guitar as I pick up my spare guitar and say, "You play the guitar, don't you? Would you mind changing this, please?" Which, to be fair, literally, if anyone ever does that to me at a gig, I will happily say, "Of course, I would be.
Yes.
I would be very glad to help you." I think Andy was a little bit annoyed by it.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got one more. I was at Battle of the Bands in Queensland. It was, what's it called? Some big Battle of the Bands competition. And we're at the final. And doing something stupid. I'm jumping off a speaker, like PA or something. And I break a string. And I ran off stage. And there's a band stood there, ready to go on, and I grabbed his guitar. I said, "Sorry, I broke the string," and I just yanked it off him and ran out on stage and plugged it in, and then thankfully it was all fine. But those guys ended up winning, and it went on to be, they were called Pangea, a band from Brisbane, and they were unbelievable. And he ended up winning Best Guitar Player as well. He was astonishing. But yeah, so that's another broken string story. Anyway,
Okay.
David Burke says, at TPS, surely you're essential workers. With a normal immune system, you can't have it forever. You either recover or you get worse and don't. Normally within a couple of weeks. Right, very good. And Chris Parsons says, Dan, are you thinking of live at Yoshi's? Yes, I am. That's the most extraordinary Pat Martino recording. Absolutely amazing.
I think I've frozen. Oh well.
Oh, okay.
We're still on, are we? We're still live.
We're still on. We're still going. Yeah, we're still
fair enough. Have you ever fallen off a stage, Dan?
Yes. Yes, I have.
Were you drunk?
What was I doing?
Were you drunk?
We used to play some real toilets back in Sydney, and some really tiny stages. And yeah, I've taken a slip a couple of times. I think I can remember doing a gig when I was 16, and I used to do these sort of guitar solo breaks, like, between a couple of songs, and just do all this tapping stuff. And I remember, and I had this wall of amplifiers behind me. I had all my mates bring over their transistor amps and stuff. I had must have had 12 amplifiers all hooked up. And it sounded horrendous. Anyway, I'm doing all this stuff, and I walk forward, and I had my rack, and I had the jam, and I had the, all the ripped jeans and stuff, and we had, because we hired this hall and we're putting on our own gig, and it was packed. And I'm doing this stuff, and I walk forward at the end of the stage, this big glory moment. As I walk forward, the guitar lead pulls out of the rack, and I'm left at the front. I go, and there's just nothing. So that was the moment I would have been better for me to fall off stage. But yeah, I'll never forget that. That was brilliant.
Yeah, I did once at the Bridport Arts Centre, drunk. Went out to the front of the stage to start the song, put my foot down in a rock and roll manner, straight off the front of the stage, and all I could think about was because I had a Mark III Boogie in a flight case which had wheels on it, and all I could think about was the amp following me off the stage and hitting me on the head, which of course it wouldn't have done because there was a pedalboard and everything else there. But when you're drunk, you don't think about these things, do you? Idiot. Jarrett Oldenburg has actually got a really good question that you're going to be able to answer, Dan.
Okay.
Jarrett Oldenburg. Hi, Jarrett. I had a fascinating experience with my Diamond compressor the other day.
Right.
When kicking it on, my sound got louder, but my drives distorted less. Was it set to cut a bit of bass and treble, and why?
Okay, so it depends on where it was in the chain.
The drives were after.
Okay, so compressor first. So it got less distorted,
Yeah.
but the sound was louder. Okay.
Yeah, the sound is louder, but the beginning of the note isn't louder. The beginning of the note is quieter because that's what a compressor does.
Your transient isn't as pronounced. So you'll get, if you think of, but the overdrive will be compressing anyway.
Yeah, but I think you're on the front of that note, the overdrive's getting less oomph. So it's just not overdriving as much.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
The Diamond compressor is amazing, actually.
Try the compressor after the overdrive, just out of interest, because I think you'll really like that.
Yeah. Tony Brooks says, I once fell off a stage, but it was playing table tennis. I went head over heels and landed on some chairs right square in his things. Very good. Right, we're knocking on 7 o'clock. We're nearly there.
We are.
Brian, Greasy Kitchen says, Brian May had a cable come out in one of the Queen live videos. It happens to everyone. You know what? I feel so relieved after that. Thank you, Greasy Kitchen. That's wonderful. Not obviously it wasn't wonderful for Brian at that moment, but it does make me feel better.
JJ Wiggo says, I saw Rory Gallagher on stage break a string on his Strat, continued playing and restrung and tuned without missing a beat. How do you do that? You haven't got enough hands to do that, have you?
Dude, there's an amazing video of B.B. King breaking a string.
Right.
And he continues to sing and stuff, and he's singing, and the whole time he looks at his hands and he's changing the string. And then he starts up again. And he's amazing.
Bless him. Jarrett Oldenburg says, I wasn't a fan of the Diamond after my drives. It squished too easily. Yeah, fair enough.
Okay.
Not for everyone. It tends to work best with a compressor that's got a clean blend. Does the Diamond compressor have a clean blend? I haven't got one here.
I don't know.
Haven't got one here. Anyway, I'm just going to check my phone. My aging iPhone, Dan, dies during the... it doesn't have enough battery to do a whole show anymore.
Oh, okay. Right, fair enough. Andy Mill wants to know who we've both been listening to. Nick.
Doyle Bramall always. I have Doyle Bramall on repeat and Michael Landau. So Doyle Bramall's two most recent records, Rich Man and Shades. Michael Landau's Rock Bottom, which I literally have those three records on repeat all the time, along with the Brothers Landreth 87 and Joey's Hindsight.
Right.
And I'm going to add in Maren Morris, Hero, to that pretty cheesy country artist who I absolutely adore. Maren Morris, Hero.
Nice. So because I'm doing this jazz thing at the moment, it does sound sad to say, but if I do have music on, it's generally Pat Martino at the moment. I'm just so enthralled with his playing.
Thanks, Jake.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, mate. And thank you, Chad Head. Cheers, buddy. But I do have my... I've been listening to a young lady by the name of...
yes. I've been meaning to listen to this as well.
Yeah. Her name is Cunningham. Someone Cunningham. It'll come to me.
Courtney Cunningham.
Come on, brain. Sorry?
Dave Cunningham.
Dave Cunningham. I've listened to her, Dave Cunningham. No.
Richie Cunningham. Hey.
Richie Cunningham.
You know,
Solo was extraordinary.
while you're trying to remember the name of Cunningham...
Madison Cunningham.
Madison Cunningham. Do you remember the Fonz and Happy Days back in the days?
Of course. Of course.
My brother used to call me the Gonz, as in Gonzo from the Muppets. Because I was fascinated by the Fonz. I thought the Fonzie was cool, and he used to call me Gonzy. So
right.
There we are.
So yeah, I've been listening to her album, and I must say it's one of the best things that I have heard in years. And I've reached out to her to say when she's touring, would she come on the show? I haven't heard back yet, but I'll keep you posted. But I think she is incredible. Chris Turner says, I've been listening to XTC a lot. Well done, Chris. Good for you. A band I didn't know prior to Dave Gregory appearing on TPS. Thanks for the introduction. Wow. Just one of my absolute benchmark. XTC and Crowded House. Boom.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Nick and Dan, I watch you more than actual telly. Any tips for sweaty hands? Could be why a bending a vibrato is tough for me. Hands not big enough to wrap over the neck.
Oh, sweaty hands is such a sod of a thing to have to deal with. My friend Steve, who I played in the aforementioned band when I had the old yellow Strat, Japanese Strat, Steve had the most incredibly sweaty hands and acid sweat at that. So he used to eat strings like nobody's business.
Wow.
And I think, the tips would be buy coated strings.
Right.
Give your guitars a really good wipe down after each play. You probably know all that stuff already. Bending and stuff, avoid maple necks.
Oh, wow, really?
Avoid lacquered maple fingerboards. And try rosewood and ebony. You'll find that much easier.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Well, there we go, mate. 7:00.
Yeah. Jimmy Watts went to see Doyle Bramall, and his other guitarist, Adam Minkoff, had the D&M drive on his board.
It's because he's a legend.
I sent you a pic at the time. I do remember you sending us that, Jimmy. Minkoff, he's the guy that plays bass with him, I think, as well, isn't he? That guy.
Wow.
That guy is music. And I've watched him playing keys and bass. He is music, that guy.
Amazing.
Yeah. Right.
Sam Hopkins says, is Dan still going to sell butters in the Jaguar? No, I'm not selling butters. It came down to it, and I just couldn't do it. It's such a wonderful guitar, and I would miss it. I don't play it a lot, but it's a guitar that I think is important to have in the arsenal because it does have such a great sort of that old tally type thing. I mean, it's not... this thing is I'm on this at the moment a lot. I just love, it just feels like home to me now. But yeah, it came down to it. I couldn't sell butters.
Okay, 2 final questions. Buzz Crumhunger says, considering how few UK shows get shown here in the US, I'm honestly surprised you even knew Happy Days.
Oh my goodness, are you kidding?
It shows like that were on repeat in the UK. Dukes of Hazzard, Happy Days.
Buddy Holly from Weezer. That Happy Days clip. I mean, Happy Days was ubiquitous.
Cultural phenomenon, yeah. And UK TV in the 1970s and 80s was risible. It was beyond awful. And therefore, whether it was Airwolf or TJ Hooker or Chips or Happy Days or any of those, Charlie's Angels, any of those massive American shows, we got them all. We got them all and loved them. That's why when you go to Switzerland or France or Germany, all the people speak with an American accent because they spend their whole life watching American TV. Right, and then finally, Sweeney JP. Let's finish on you. You've actually got a proper question, Sweeney JP. I'm a loop artist who runs a mixer of instruments into a Boss RC300 straight to the PA. I want to run an amp preamp prior to the RC300 to conserve guitar tone. What works for a Strat? So what Sweeney's saying is he has a bunch of stuff in a mixer that he feeds to his loop station. He wants better guitar tone out of his Strat. What preamp could he use to achieve that? I'm assuming you're going to want something with speaker simulation because everything's full range. So if you're going into the RC300 and then out to a PA system, presumably you want it to sound like a guitar amp. Which is where it starts to get a bit tough. Because if you just run a straight preamp in with no speaker simulation in there, it's going to sound like an amp.
You know what?
Speaker.
You know what? See if you can find an old what's the pedal? The black pedal with the yellow writing on it with the dip switches on it. Oh come on!
Sans amp.
The Sans amp. Find a Sans amp.
Yeah, 100% agree. That's what you need. Check out Sans amp. Also, same company as Tech 21, aren't they? But if you Google Sans amp, they've got a preamp for you.
Yep.
Great show.
Really great.
Really great show.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
That was you.
Let's bring this party to a close.
Rufus 1884 says, when is the D&M drive back in stock?
They should be in stock in the US. We don't have any, and we're unlikely to get any soon, which is a real pain in the bottom.
Oh, heavens.
Not least because the exchange rate has tanked so horribly that we would end up not making any money on them, which is really boring. So, yeah.
Dull.
But hey-ho, we may be able to fix that. We were talking about another limited edition one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which we're still discussing. So let's see. But if you're anywhere else in the world, certainly in the US, you can buy them direct from Keeley and most big manufacturers. Andersons have probably got some in the UK. So we're very happy wherever you buy them from. So thank you for even thinking about it.
El Rondo says, guys, got to go. Thanks for all your efforts, TPS. Love the show. Thank you, El Rondo. And yes, we're the same. It is time to go. I can smell my food and it's making me dizzy.
Food.
Nice.
I actually bought some beef off the farm here, Dan.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I may eat some of that this very evening, with apologies to very...
Fabian Erickson says, limited edition D&M drive with Dan's face and a TV.
Come on, let's go.
Okay. Thanks everyone for watching. Have a great week. Some stuff is coming up this week, so stay tuned. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe.
We're not entirely sure what's going to happen on Friday, but there we go. What will be will be. See you, people.
All right, see you guys. Take care. Bye.
Oh, hang on. We need to say goodbye again because my phone gave up.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Sorry if the phone went off then. I need a new phone. The battery doesn't last. Thanks for being with us. We will see you soon.
Yes, thanks, people. Take care. Stay safe. Bye. Bye.